Hello, Liz Blake again, and it's day 21 of 30 Days Live. Um, and tonight I'm talking about, for a few minutes, on from failure to impact. Okay, failure is always such an awesome topic to be thinking about. The dream of every purpose-minded entrepreneur is to make impact on people. So, in fact, every person in business can make impact on someone. And who is this someone or someone's? So that's another thing. But so what goes into impact? Like when you think about it, you know, what actually makes an impact? Because when we're in business, we're sort of solving problems for people, and for certain people, we're solving a certain problem for a certain person, type of person, and that business could be bricks and mortar, it could be online, it could be any kind of venture. So, but what goes into making impact? It's like often we say things and we don't really think about what makes them happen and what makes them work. So there are personal elements. There's personality. Sometimes that's part of it. There's character. Your character is part of it. Your skills is definitely part of it, and also your experiences are part of making impact. So it's now in our work situation, and I've done a lot of coaching people in IT recruitment and executives, managers, etc. And when working in that way, we encourage. The strongest thing to do is to encourage a person, or is to get a person to be working mainly in their strengths, and that's very sound. That's a very sound. According to research, it's not my opinion. It's a very sound thesis. And so, for instance, I've worked with the Gallup's Strengths Finder 2.0, it is now, for many, many years. And I love it. And I work with something else even stronger than that in a different field, in a related field. But there's this the Strengths Finder, a brilliant tool. And then there's more recently, I was introduced to the VIA Institute's character strength survey. And so they're both on a similar vein, different but similar. And so that's the normal thing. However, so we usually talk about our strengths and our successes, and we share our story. We'll talk to prospective clients. We share our successes and the wonderful stories we have. And we consider that, like, okay, failure, and we can tritely say, oh, yeah, when I fail, I learn. Our failures teach us something. What doesn't hurt to kill us? I can't even remember the saying at the moment, but what, but it's all about the common thing is, we learn from our failures, but we say it very lightly and very tritely. When it comes down to it, the failures that hurt us, and when if you're an entrepreneur I'm speaking to entrepreneurs and people in business, uh, the ones that have hurt us the most, have humiliated or embarrassed us the most, or cost us some self-respect, and that could be through the results it had. Uh, we tend to keep them private or don't talk about them much. We bury them, that because it actually hurts to think about it. It can hurt to talk about it. However, but it's a very it's an important thing to know that your greatest failure can be the thing that helps others move forward most. Okay, so now that's not just everybody, that's certain others. But your greatest failure, or our greatest failures, can be the thing that motivates others the most. Mind you, that has to be failures that we've overcome, that we have learned something from. We've made the failure and we've moved on. That's the overcoming. We've learned something, but we have overcome it. We've worked through that, and um, it can that failure can be the thing that makes the way for other people. Those failures, I should say, that makes the way for other people to do what you're teaching them to do. This story you've got, for instance, a story that you've got can be your client's biggest eye opener, biggest revelation, the key guide, that they'll say to themselves, "Look, I'll never go there. You know I need to do certain things, but I'll never do that, or I've got to watch that kind of thing there." And it really, that really means something, and that impacts people. Like what I'm saying is really quite simple, actually, but it's very important. It makes a difference. So, and it makes this, a story of our failure, and where what's something we've really overcome in, can it really makes an impact when a person can see themselves in that. Now, a person can see themselves in that when they are in your precision niche. And that brings me back to what I've spoken a few nights ago and I mentioned a few times about the importance, the vital importance of having your in business, having your precision niche. Now, I'm going to finish with, let's make a quick mental audit. Okay. So if you'd like to, make a short list, a mental short list of your top 3 big mistakes that you've made. Okay, so that's the first thing. And then pick the one that set you back the most. Have a think about who else could benefit from this. Who else would this benefit to know how I made this mistake, this error of judgment. I just, dumb mistakes, just got caught up and just went, down this crazy path, whatever. And then, this is how I pulled myself out of this horrible little hell I'd set up. That was the result. Who would benefit? Who would really value that? And that's actually one of the clues for who is in your precision niche. That's one clue. And this this story can be, this overcoming and knowing this can be this person's absolute liberation, and it can actually even reinforce their purpose. Purpose is something I'll just talk about tomorrow a little bit. So in my next program online, I'm going to be working with a few of the nuts and bolts of this, showing you how to use this correctly, effectively, and use it coherently. Use these tools that I've just touched on coherently. So that's enough for tonight, and thanks for joining me, and I'll catch you tomorrow night. Bye for now.